So, hi, it seems like a small group today, so grateful for that, whoever could come. So, I don't think Harmony Circle needs an introduction. Aditi and Rama, they've both been with us. So, welcome. So, the topic for today's circle is gratitude. And I think out of a lot of things, the things that we want to be and I don't know, want to do or want to have in our lives, somehow I feel that gratitude is something that is kind of often ignored, especially active gratitude. You know, how we feel that it's I am grateful, like हाँ जो चीजें ठीक होती हैं मैं कहाँ इतनी complain करती हूँ, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like you need to do it actively. So I would want to reflect on that today as why would we, I mean, is there a need to do it more actively? And if yes, why? So just like all the topics, I'll start with how this topic came to me. I have a 6 year old and we got two toys for him on Amazon. We ordered. He got one of the toys and sadly he was told that the second toy would come anytime, like today or tomorrow. So he had absolutely no excitement for the first toy. He just opened it and he was like, "Jab tak second nahi aayega, I would not be able to, kind of." He didn't say that, but he was not able to play with the first one in the anticipation of the second one. Like, every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he would be like, कि कोई message आया, कुछ call आया, रात को सोने के वक्त, in the early morning, as soon as he woke up, okay, is it there? Is it there? So when I saw him kind of being totally immersed in that want to have more, 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 and totally ignoring what he had in his eyes, in his hands at that time. Again, that was something that he really wanted, but it was not giving him any pleasure because he knew that he would want more or he is about to get more. So that kind of made me wonder that what all am I overlooking in my life or in general right now, in my desire or want or need to have more, or remove this or change that. Okay, I don't he was not at all obviously acknowledging what he had. And that is true for a lot of me as well. Like, and it's odd how how we need to see things and lose things to be aware of or be grateful for what we already have. My college, like for my bachelor's, my institute was institute for the physically handicapped. So every time I used to be parking my car, there used to be people coming, on the road without, say, legs and all, and they used to be on the road. And when we were there, when I was there, suddenly, having a healthy body every day, when you're seeing so many people with lost limbs, it felt like such a huge, big blessing, right? Like you have two hands and two legs, and suddenly, as soon as I would be parking my car, all the clutter in my mind, at least for 2 minutes, most of the days would go, and I would be like, thank God, wow, I have such a big blessing. But then you forget. I mean, it's sad that how constantly we need to be reminded for this, that there should be this gratitude for, because there is obviously a lot that you have. I had an aunt who used to say, "Ke, like the body, we do take it for granted, but if something goes wrong, you can spend thousands and lakhs on it, and then you will realize that this body, millions की body है, but जब तक कुछ होता नहीं है, कुछ खराब नहीं होता, we take it like ये तो मेरी entitlement है कि, and so for other things as well, that so much we take care for granted that this I obviously इतना तो होना ही था, but जो नहीं है उसमें भी kind of keep losing track. I keep going back to my education again. When I was doing my MBA, that was in year 2004. During the orientation, there was a speaker who said that I was so busy running in my life, and one day I was driving on some hills, and suddenly I stopped my car, parked it on one of the sides, and I slowed down. There was this sunset, and I was like, if this isn't beautiful, then what is? And he was just sitting there for half an hour, he said, and that line kind of stayed with me to, and uske baad jab bhi I saw something like, strikingly beautiful, because we do need those prompts, and I don't know, it's not a all the time state that you, I don't know, could be, should be, or it would be nice to be there. These things come to me that, if this isn't perfect, or if this isn't right, or if this isn't beautiful, what is? So again, that brings you to the moment, and you can be more grateful, because I don't know, for me, acknowledging that I have so much, it fulfill it, I don't know, it fills me more, it makes me somehow more. And I guess, like, in this, like the example that I was using for my son, in the need to have more, I am never be able to be thankful for what I already have. I don't know if gratitude is just being thankful. We can, we'll be discussing more of that, what gratitude means to us. But I don't know, a thank you, a prayer, or simply, I don't know, I feel that if I just tell myself I am all right, maybe, I don't know, so much is going wrong in the middle of so much. If I feel I have that awareness, or that grace to have that feeling that I'm all right, I think that's gratitude too, in a way. I don't know, I could be wrong, but just reflecting here. So again, thank you for coming, and the topic is gratitude. And let's, I guess, share now. We can unmute and start sharing that what gratitude means to me. Anything you want to share from your life, any experiences, or simply, if I feel in my life there's need to be more gratitude, and if not, that's great too. So thank you.
It's a little noisy on my end, so tell me if it's not audible. Um, I think, like, Taru, like it was written on the poster and the example you shared also, we somehow feel that gratitude is, gratitude comes to us when we feel we want more and we get that more. Maybe somebody else should continue and I will find a quiet place and continue.
Yes, thank you, Shilpi. So she was basically referring to that poster. That somehow I feel that when I'll get more, then I'll be grateful, but that point never comes. That we have all, I mean, if again, if we have a bit more awareness in our lives, a bit more attention, we do see that that point almost never comes. If I keep thinking that if I'll get more, then I'll do this or that. So yeah, if anybody else wants to go, Ramaji, Aditi, Reggie, anything about gratitude that you want to start at the beginning of the session, and then we can take this further.
Taru, I'll quickly share. Aditi here. So,
Yeah.
I think this whole bit about active gratitude, that is something which I don't know, I've been trying to bring it into practice more and more, but easier said than done, right? So, for me, my recent health situation has been a great reminder of what it is like to be healthy, and there is so much to be thankful for, right? So, now that I'm getting a little better and I'm just going back to being my original self, like if I'm not getting rashes, I'm not getting allergy of those kinds which I was getting earlier. Now suddenly I'm like कि कुछ नया तो नहीं मिला, जो हमेशा you've taken for granted वही है, but the meaning of it has gone up many folds, right? So now every day, like I'm like, oh my god, how will it be today? Will it be okay? And every evening, if I'm okay, then I'm like, इससे बड़ी चीज कुछ हो ही नहीं सकती है, So I think that active gratitude about all the things that we take for granted is a very big thing. And I think this pandemic has been a great reminder of that as well for all of us. क्योंकि जब घर से बाहर नहीं जा पा रहे थे और वो सारी चीजें जो हमेशा करी थी वो नहीं कर पा रहे थे, तो suddenly it was a reminder कि अरे मतलब wow, that was a big thing. So yeah, that active gratitude practice is something which I'm doing more and more now, and I just hope to stay on this journey. So when I saw this topic for today, I was like, I kind of smiled to myself. I was like, "Acha, theek hai, ye to attend karna hai." So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Aditi. And when I shared the poster with Aditi, she had messaged me a quote, which I think most of us would have heard before, but it's really beautiful. And it said that if the only prayer you say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. So I think that's really beautiful because, we do need, need more of that. We do need more of, I think, acknowledgement that yes, I am enough. So, gratitude, I guess, by definition, would be acknowledging what I already have and at least knowing, say, I think there's a lot, it seems a very simple thing, right? Acknowledging what I already have. Like, why wouldn't I not be doing that already? But I constantly surprise myself as to the basic stuff that I overlook or ignore, in my desire to be so many places and so much. I don't see what I already am, so I'm not be able to, I don't know, relish that or enjoy that or even be there fully with what I already have. And yeah, I had seen the definition online, which I also sometimes see. So I think it said gratitude is the quality of being thankful or your readiness to show appreciation for, I don't know, kindness or compassion that you already have. So yeah, I mean, it's again quite known, but the quality of being thankful. Yeah. Yeah, Shilpi, you're ready to, you can speak now.
Yes, let's do another try. So I was actually thinking that there was a time when I wanted something in life and it happened and I felt very grateful. And then there was a time when I did not want that thing in life and it was taken away and I was very grateful. So that made me think that the gratefulness, it is not tied to an object, first of all, because the same object coming and going in two different situations made me, it's not tied to situation. And a lot of times it is tied to a reason within me that I want it this way, and for that reason I'm feeling grateful. And you shared some text with me also, Taru, that also was talking about feeling grateful as the base place where we are operating from, and not tied to the objects or the situations or something, because those can change. And then it can be confusing because I was grateful for the same thing coming in my life, and now I'm grateful for the same thing going away from my life. So I would like to see what everybody has to share about gratefulness being the base camp from which we are operating from, free from attaching it to a certain situations or things or people.
Yeah, like, yeah, I shared an article in that, it was like that your basis has to be that you're all right. And then, how you have to then work from there. Okay, I have everything, and whatever I'm doing, it's like, again, that kind of that play or the leela, कि सब कुछ है, I'm already complete, and I'm just, I don't know, playing or acting. Yeah. The other day I was reading something, and in that, there were some letters from the mother. In that, mother had also mentioned, so many people, so many letters of I want this, or I have issues, or I have problems, but hardly any ever with grateful or, thankfulness. Not that she was wanting that, but just that, okay, where how we operate, that if things are all right, then I don't need to uh, like acknowledge that or be anything or say that. So that was also very interesting read, mother commenting on it. Yeah. So if anybody would want to just share their views on what Shilpi was sharing, that being grateful as the starting point, as the base from where you operate, what does that mean to us?
I agree with Shilpi actually. The attitude of gratitude actually is the base for me to keep negativity at bay. Because whenever negativity comes, it can come at any point when something is not going according to how I expected, or I demanded something and it's just not happening. I just have to kind of step back and be grateful for what I have, and then things either dissipate or something better comes. Often, the more sincere I am with the gratitude within, then either the moment reveals to me what it has to, because otherwise, it's just blindly picking and choosing what you think you like or may not be suitable a lot of times. So that is the base for me as well, and it it kind of never fails to pick me up when I'm feeling low also. Because sometimes you don't even know why you're feeling low. You're just feeling low. The day is such, or you're just feeling low. You get up in the morning with. Sometimes if I'm overworked at night, I get up hungover in the morning. I just, there's that moment, there's that window in the morning when you wake up, just before your thoughts flood your head, when you don't necessarily think much. And in that moment, if I invite gratitude, it just sets me up for the day, actually. So it is kind of a base in that sense, for any issue that comes across. Just talking about that point.
Yeah, Reggie, thank you so much. Anything else you want to share right now about gratitude?
Generally, or just about what Shruti was
No,
saying?
no, generally, if you want to share something right now, since you already have the.
Okay. Um, well, adding to what I was saying already, this um, it's so of this year has been, I've been sick mostly, right, for most like 6 months, I think, in this year. And it's one of the things I've actually understood is how to express gratitude more sincerely. Because I think previously, even if I was trying to be grateful, it wasn't to this level. Just the fact that I'm alive, and people in my family have died, like not my immediate family, but relatives, etc. Have died. Some are struggling with COVID, some have cancer. I don't know, worse things out there. And I'm just like, listen, these things will pass. It's a blow, and it's teaching me things as well. So it's not that hard to be grateful right now as compared to maybe a few months back. Even at the onset of this year, a lot of plans got overturned. I kind of felt at sea. And but then over this year, so many sessions, people, so many things have happened. There's been a digital explosion on the internet, and that has actually made me meet people even across the borders, across countries even. And I would not have obviously been able to do that if there wasn't this explosion. So I have to be grateful for that lockdown. For even though it overturned everything, it's for the good, because before the lockdown, I had no time. Travel was eating up my time. You have to be in a place, you have to oblige people all the time. So this was happening. And now that is saving me hours every day. So I'm grateful for that, because now everybody is in lockdown. Nobody can force me because they themselves can't travel. And I used to always say it's a waste of time, I feel, but then you go with the flow. But now the flow is what saving time and being more efficient with it. So uh, so grateful for those things, and just any blow that comes mentally or physically, it just makes you stronger in a sense. So uh, either the gratitude in that time, in that duration of time, either gives me that a solution to the issue, or it just helps it dissipate faster, because the what that blow came to teach me reveals itself, right? So it's that also is something I'm grateful for. So now that when something happens, I'm like, okay, I should just compose myself, because something good will come out. Just have faith in gratitude, actually. So, and I call it now, I use this word for it when somebody asks. I've used this before. I call it the master key for me, which is equal to the base to receive actually grace, because this active gratitude that you've written on the poster is a real blessing, because it helps me remember the divine. The remembrance is something I wasn't good at, like remembering. I didn't even know what that meant up until last year. So how do you even remember? But this active gratitude just infuses that sense of, yes, thank you for this food. Even if I've eaten a food and I'm bored of it for 1,000 times, I'm eating the same food. Just gratitude makes the food back to being as good as new. So anything is the master key to life itself. Just gratitude, because that is the key for faith and everything else that follows. I feel so. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Reggie.
You're welcome.
So it's like, I don't know, I don't, while you were speaking, it felt that, we always look for reasons to do things. But, with gratitude, it's like, I don't know what I'm thankful for. Like you said that, you're sick, you've been sick this year, but that has made you more grateful. Like how, I don't know, contradictory that is. So I don't know what to be thankful for. I don't know, thank you for what or whom, but I am thankful. I know that, I have received so much without deserving, without that sense, if I drop my sense of entitlement. And I've got so much without, any in, eligibility. So if I have got so much without any eligibility, maybe I can also give out so much and not judge people on those eligibility scales. That would be beautiful. And I think if you have that awareness and attention, like you were talking, again, it's not possible not to be great. It's just that we don't see, we don't pause. But if we are seeing that how beautiful things are, or what my, I don't know, what my disease got me, you can't help but be grateful. So that, again I said that before, but for me, that just that thing about I am all right no matter what I have can never be taken from me. It's just quite beautiful. Like it's quite overwhelming, the sense of gratitude. I mean, I don't know, like you're having a fight and you've been proven an idiot. Okay, that you can see the other person is thinking you're an idiot, but I can look at the fact that that person thinks or wants to prove I'm an idiot, but it's all right. I'm all right. I'm just, yeah, grateful. So,
It actually, that's a good point. It's a good ego dissolver, I feel. It's just in the moment my ego kicks up, I'm just grateful for seeing my ego, actually. Just like, oh, my ego's kicked up. Okay, thank you for showing me my ego's kicked up. Okay, ego, bye bye. I'm going to leave you be now. And I kind of step back, because it just the fact that I can see it helps me step back. Otherwise, I'm blinded by it. That itself is grateful for that.
yeah. So Ramaji has shared that I have to be constantly reminded for being grateful. I feel that one loses sight of it as one feels entitled for everything, probably ego. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. I mean, especially this sense of entitlement. It's like I also find that very, I don't know what word to use, but पता नहीं, like you don't even know कहाँ से आ जाती है, and how, and if you question it, it doesn't really have a basis. But there's something in me which, whatever I have, it does feel कि अच्छा हाँ, this much, so this much I deserve, though this is a given. But actually, nothing is given. So when I can face the fact that nothing was given, and this yet I have so much, it does act as a reminder, or it kind of prompts you to be more grateful. Snehi, would you like to share a bit or today? Do you feel like sharing? Yeah, maybe she's like not here. So yeah. So I guess I'll only have to talk. So there was this quote again. Rumi has beautiful quotes. So there was this quote about gratitude as well, and it said that wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. So I've always, kind of not always, like whenever I've read it, I've wondered what that really meant. Like, wear gratitude like a cloak. Cloak is something that covers you, totally from outside. You wear all your layers and then you kind of wear a cloak and it will cover every aspect. I don't know, every corner or aspect of your life. Okay. It's like, so I can resonate with that, like how it's if it's there in everything that you're doing, if it's through in you, around you, how things can be totally different. So yeah, I was just
Yeah, is there too much of a background noise, Taru?
no, not right now
ठीक
at
है,
all.
अच्छा अभी मतलब I am feeling it, but yeah, it's good that it's not there. So yeah, I would like to share. Picking up one line from what you said earlier, you use the word overlook and ignore. First I would like to touch upon that, and also what Shilpi was sharing, taking gratitude as the base, and that would also touch what Ramaji has shared, that I have to be constantly reminded for being grateful. I think all of us have to be constantly reminded. So it's almost that most of the time, like out of 100%, if it is the total time, most of the time we find ourselves seeking for something. It may be very little thing, it may be I wanting to have my maid or the help working my way. I want to have the child eat in my way. It may be very little seeking, we may not be even aware of that seeking. So most of the time in our life we are seeking, there is this seeking, and if that seeking is not fulfilled, I would fall into the space of sadness, or uh, feeling like bad mood, or why things did not happen my way and all that. And when the seeking is there, it's almost like a cloud, a dark cloud on the sky. Whenever even a bit of seeking is there in my life, I completely overlook the blue sky of my being, that I am alive, bloody I am alive. I am intensely alive, and that is why I am feeling the highs and lows and ups and downs. So it feels to me that whenever seeking is present in my life, it is very hard to be grateful. It's very hard, because when I am in the seeking self, which we can also refer to as the ego, it's almost as the dark cloud obscuring the being or the presence, which the actual nature of which is gratitude. So gratitude then is not a very active activity. It may feel like that, but gratitude is our true nature. Being grateful is that blue sky. And whenever we touch those spaces of blue sky, when the seeking is absent, we feel grateful. Or it can be also done in another way, which we were talking of, that if we are actively being grateful, it makes us touch that deeper space, which is our truth, and which is forever complete. And as you were saying, Reggie was also sharing that almost ego dissolves in that moment. The seeking self comes to a rest, as if that dark cloud over that blue sky kind of dissipates in that moment. The moment I say, thank God for being alive, thank God for whatever, I may not have a hand, or my bladder may not be working very fine, but at least I am alive. And this also reminded me of the thing that you said, use this word, I overlook. what all I have. We overlook that we are alive. That is the biggest overlooking. We overlook that I am alive, and hence I can go through all the ups and downs and downs and ups of life. Isn't that a beautiful adventure? But the moment that seeking is there, that I'm wanting that particular person to behave in my way, or whatever, seeking could be anything, I just overlook it. I just ignore that very obvious presence of me in this life. And I think this would be the ignorance that is called as ignorance is the root cause of suffering. Ignoring the very obvious that bloody you are alive, and in the presence of seeking, I also see that whenever even a little bit of seeking is there, it is so hard to be grateful, because I am as if I am away from the truth of my being. The blue sky, I am away from it. It seems like that. And in that very moment, if one, as you were talking, that if one makes it a practice to be grateful for just being alive, one touches again that blue sky, and one is back absorbed in my, one's being, one's truth, which is forever grateful. So yes, what Shilpi was sharing, that gratitude should be the base, actually, and usually our ego is the base, the seeking self is the base, and that is why suffering continues. It does not appear to have any end. One seeking after another, seeking after another, seeking. And this also connected me with the time, and also one story. Osho used to share this story, that there was this king who had lots of riches, and he did not have any peace and happiness. And then he went to a sadhu in the jungle, and he said that, I have so much, take all this and just give me a taste of peace and happiness. So that sadhu says, okay, come tomorrow, bring all your treasure in a potli and give it to me. We'll see what we can do. So that king goes and brings all the treasure in that potli, and that sadhu just takes it away and runs very fast. And that king is just dumbfounded, and it's running after him, gaon after gaon, village after village. And then the sadhu just stops and hands him the potli back. And the king takes a big sigh. Wow, phew, I have the treasure back. And the sadhu just pointed that you always had the treasure. I did not give you anything. And that is how you always are, who you truly are. The truth is always with you. You are the very truth. Yet you completely ignore what you have, as you were also sharing in the beginning. So then it becomes important that things are taken away from us. And that is why pain and suffering comes as a reminder that first I get rid of my good health. And then when the same health comes back, I am feeling, wow, what a beauty, and that just reminded me of these times in the hospital when I used to have such a real burning sensation while urination, and it was just bloody horrible. I would just not want to pee at all. And whenever I sit on the toilet seat now, it almost every time I am reminded that whatever story may be cropping up in my head, I say, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I am just thankful to pee normally, without any burning sensation, which we usually do, without even, we must be lost even in our thoughts, and we are done with the toilet, and, one doesn't even pay any attention. So yes, I think when things are taken away and then given back, as this lockdown, and also Aditi was sharing, has shown us, just having a cup of tea with a friend, or taking a walk with a friend, or just meeting a friend every day, almost other day, it's that was our normal. We never felt thankful for it. And now the same thing is not happening, and we see, wow, what on earth did I take for granted? What all on earth did I take for granted? So yes, this lockdown has, really brought us down on our knees for a good reason. I think we should always be grounded, because otherwise only the ego is up in the air all the time. And it's good for us that the ego crashes back in whatever way in our individual lives, and we are shown the ground, so that we can take another flight again, not through the ego, but with that grounding. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was coming to me from these sharings.
It's really sad how we actually are, that we need what, to lose stuff to actually appreciate it. It kind of should be a wake up call for us when we are actually able to accept that fully, that unless I lose, I will not. And health ka to seriously, whenever you have a bad health day, even if it's, a regular, simple stomach ache or anything, it just feels that all the days that I have in which my health is all right, it's such a big blessing. When you feel that for a day and then you forget, then you feel that matlab, we are running away from pain. But if we look, हमें इतनी जरूरत है उसकी, जैसे वही जैसे कुत्ते की पूंछ kind, that we need that, because that is, I don't know, they say na, suffering comes with the call to action. कि उसके बिना we will not want to move. We are so kind of, I don't know, in tamas or so. So it's, yeah, beautiful thing, whatever. I mean, all the things that you had shared were very.
It's almost regarding the health part, it almost we never even look pay attention to the intelligence of the body. It's just operating at its own level, and we think that I am the body, but bloody we have no clue what the body is doing for us. It's just operating at its own intelligence, and when that intelligence or whatever, the system breaks down, only then do we realize that it was just given, and we never even paid attention that it's operating, such a beautiful system is operating minutely at the detailer levels, the detailed levels, and we have no idea of what can go wrong at any point. We have no idea of this machine, and still it is completely given each and every day.
Yeah. And again, that, fact that if I'm always seeking, like you were saying, that seeking obviously comes from a place of I am not enough, right? I need something to complete me, fulfill me. So these two things can't happen together. I cannot be grateful as well as I want more stuff together. So that's also something to know, that right now I can be thankful, or I can be, desireful, or something that's quite beautiful. Because I don't know, I have personally experienced that when I bend towards being grateful, like when I feel the grace in my life, whatever I have seems enough. It might not be enough. I am here, ki nahi hai. And suddenly something comes and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, so blessed. And suddenly everything seems enough. So it's just like magic how it kind of, transforms. Like
Bilkul.
a lot of time people say that about prayers, right? Like prayers are magical, and I feel the same thing about gratitude, that it's just like a magic wand, and suddenly everything is enough. Yeah, you were
Even in
saying
the
something.
middle of imagine that one is going in the middle of a crisis, in the middle of a challenge, which may be at the emotional level or mental or whatever physical level. If one just feels, and I'm speaking it out of my own darker phases, that oh my God, I am so alive that I can feel the moods operating within me. I am intensely alive, and that is why I can feel this pain within me. Immediately something shifts, and you are not suffering anymore. The challenge may still be there, but you are fine, you are okay with the challenge in life. And it's actually a blessing to go through challenges. Then one doesn't want to shoo the challenge away from life.
Shruti, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was wondering because I think we all have felt and we agree upon, the, like you were saying, the magic of gratitude. So I was wondering, why don't we, why, and like Monica also explained, like why don't we operate from that space of being grateful?
I think what's coming to me right away is, first of all, somehow since we have been born, we have been told that the outside will complete me. I am incomplete. I need things to fulfill me. तो जब वो ये एक cycle शुरू हो गई ना, जैसे वो graph होता है ना, yes or no, कि are you enough? No. तो उसके बाद वो जितने भी वो सब टेंजेंट्स जाएंगे, जो एरोज जाएंगे, they'll always be, and again we were just discussing that we can either want or we can be thankful. So if I'm always in ki, there's always something, almost always something that I want, and I think maybe that is why when yeah, Aditi, you want to is this a hand raise? I don't know if it was Aditi. Were you? Yeah, please.
Yeah, no, Taru, I wanted to say something, but after you finish, I
No,
had
why
a
don't you
question.
say? I guess I've already just said that. I just feel that that want thing, kind of, and it's like, how we are always like how the water always flows down. तो उसमें हमारी भी टेंडेंसी हमेशा लैक की तरफ ज्यादा जाती है, बिकॉज मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि उसके बाद आई बिकम समथिंग, राइट, लाइक द होल साइकिल ऑफ I'll get and I'll become. So I feel that is the thing, but I've lost track now. So why don't you please, yeah, see. This is the first time I think somebody has risen their hand.
This is a feature that I learned recently. Some of the
Yeah.
kids in my office, they taught me, and I thought I
Yeah.
should use it. But I'm sorry I distracted you. I think
No, I
you
found
were
it
in such a
really
nice
cute.
flow, and
Yeah.
no, so I mean, yeah, I'm feeling bad that I distracted you, and you were really no. So I had a question, but I think Shilpi had a question which you were answering, that why don't we do it actively? And I was actually interested in knowing the answer myself, because oftentimes when we go through a struggle, go through a phase, and like right now, I'm grateful for my health every single day. Like every evening, I'm grateful. But how do I ensure that I actively practice it? So I think it's going to take practice, because somewhere the basics, I don't know, we don't even realize, but we start taking it for granted of sorts, right? That health to hai, ye to hai, or wo sense of ego, right? The ego creates that entitlement. So I don't know. I think it's practice which will just keep us on the track, and when we see when we experience that, when we practice, how does it make us feel in return, and that will give us more power to continue the practice. But I also had a question, but I'll ask it once you have finished the conversation with Shilpi, because I think she was talking.
All right. Yeah. So Monica, did you have anything to?
Yeah, almost on the same lines as you guys were sharing. That I think it's only a bad habit or old habit of just seeking and wanting external things, and that is how has been our conditioning for a long time. And now it's like a new programming, if one can say. It's as if the old patterns or old habit of the mind to always remain in the seeking self and wanting to fulfill then itself through the external means, it has to now come to an end. And slowly it's only had we been kind of conditioned in a practice of gratitude, I think that would have been a different thing then. But it's not like that, and the whole of humanity, almost virtually, all of us suffer where the mind is always seeking, and it just wants that how I'll be it never questions the seeking. It always wants to fulfill that mirage of the begging bowl, and the begging bowl even it isn't there, and that is why it is never fulfilled. So once we turn inside and we see that why on earth am I not getting fulfilled, why on earth no external preoccupation is going to fulfill me, we just suddenly realize because there is no incompletion. There is no incompletion. I was forever enough. But this inquiry has to be made almost by each one of us individually. It cannot be a theory or philosophy in my head that I am enough. I have to actually practically feel it in my being that yes, I feel enough. There is enough to me being myself. And then only this old habit of the mind to seek and then fulfill and seek and fulfill can come to an end. So yes, as you were sharing, both of you, that it is almost a deconditioning or unlearning of the old pattern of the mind. Yeah.
And based on how you're saying it, it's like gratitude would help me in realizing that I already have enough, है ना?
Yes,
मतलब
yes,
it will turn us inwards, kind of.
totally, totally. Because
Yeah.
as you were saying, that two things cannot happen at once. So I cannot be seeking and be grateful. It is not possible. The moment I turn the focus, when I am seeking, when I find myself seeking again something, immediately I say, I am enough. Just it's okay to be alive, and it's okay to go through that challenge. I think that seeking almost dissipates like a fume, and one again falls back into that blue sky of being grateful, and in our own truth of the being, which is our true nature, peace and whatever, contentment.
And this reminded me, mother का एक quote काफी बार आता है ना कि if you want to express your gratitude to the divine, like simply just be happy in all
Yeah,
moments. It sounds so simple, right? Simply just be happy. But again,
but ask a seeking self and it would not be
हाँ,
possible. Yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So भाई gratitude also gives you happiness, है ना? मतलब it gives you a sudden expansion.
totally.
Okay, I'm not just this, right? But this is not just me and my story, and suddenly it opens up that there's something bigger that is
I
I am a
feel that
part of.
gratitude actually is why it is very like this with peace and happiness, because it is our nature, and these are qualities of our essential nature: peace, happiness, joy for no reason, peace and stillness and poise and calm and being grateful. I think this is all in a package. So the moment I touch one thing, rest of them kind of flower, almost. Yeah.
So Aditi was, kind of, she said that how can one be more grateful? I don't know,
By being
like
grateful.
why? Yeah, exactly, by being grateful. Yeah. And you remember that I had shared with you that we had got a forward that every new year, like if we can have this new habit that we have a thankfulness jar in the house, and whatever happiness, anything that you liked or something that you are grateful for, you just write that and put it, and then at the end of the year, on New Year's, you can open it and see. And
That was really
like,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, so again, small
Very,
small things like that, because if it's not happening organically,
yeah.
even if we start doing mechanically, like they say about mantras, right? Like, just if you just say the words, they start becoming alive for you. Yeah.
And then almost, it kind of leads us uh, almost to be grateful for being grateful, because uh, it's so hard for us, as Ramaji was also sharing, it's so hard for the seeking self or the ego to be grateful. And once I have touched or tasted that gratefulness, one can actually feel grateful for being grateful, that thank God I am here.
This reminds me, it's very interesting that if somebody is going through a very hard time and you tell them that you have so much to be grateful for, they actually can take it as an offense.
Yeah, true, very true, very true.
That you
It's again
don't, huh.
that seeking self does not want to be grateful, it cannot
Mm,
tolerate gratefulness. How can I be grateful? How can I be grateful? This is not happening for me. I
mm,
totally agree. I think there is strong resistance when the seeking is enveloping the being. Then there is a
mm.
strong resistance towards gratefulness.
Like it's more like an insult.
Totally.
Okay, that means you're not getting where I am,
Yeah.
like if you're talking like that. Yeah. Yeah, Aditi, you can raise your hand again and ask your question, please. Unless there's somebody else, obviously, who wants to share.
I'll ask my question. I'll not raise my hand. uh, yeah. So my question is like, it's, I don't know. It's a little silly because we are talking about like, much deeper things in life. But I think it's something that um, one of the things that is a challenge for me at work, and because we are talking it only, I mean, I just thought of it now while I was listening to the discussion. So this whole practice of gratitude, and I really pursue neuroscience. Like I read a lot, I follow the latest in neuroscience, and I've actually seen the research papers where there are correlations between when you practice gratitude and what it does to your brain, and uh, and therefore how it makes you feel. right? And versus you being in a very seeking hijacked mode ki nahi hai, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. So when you complain, what happens to your brain versus when you feel thankful, what happens to your brain? And there is actually the whole research that the hormones which are secreted, uh, they in turn make you feel. So that's the rational me, right? Like the rational me will always go and look at these papers and say, "Acha, ye hota hai." And that's also the doctor wala legacy that I carry because I come from a family of doctors. Though this is the same stream which has brought me here, where I don't find all the answers, but I just thought I'll mention it. So this is one of my passions, and the other thing that is currently happening for me is that I'm in a corporate after a very long time, and there are so many things I'm not liking about it. But I also see people who are trapped in different ways. So maybe there is something I can contribute.
Aditi, we have, I
मतलब
can't hear.
sorry, can you hear me now?
या बीच में
Can
अभी
you hear me
लैग
now,
हो गया
Tari?
था for about 15-20 seconds. So you said you're in a corporate
Acha.
and you're not liking a lot of things there. That's where I heard you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying that I've in a corporate after a very long time, and I'm not liking a lot of things there because I feel that I don't want to say ahead or behind, but I've been on a very different path for a long time, and ये suddenly एक track change हो गया है, and I'm finding it difficult to adjust here. But जब तक मैं हूँ यहाँ पे, मुझे लग रहा है that there is something I can contribute. There is a reason why I'm here, and I'm still looking for ways that how can I add value to myself and to people around me. So उसमें there is one place where I'm working with few people who are younger to me and full of energy, enthusiasm, 30-year-old, 32-year-olds, and I feel that this system, this whole corporate system is designed somewhere. I might be wrong, but it exploits people. Like ये बहुत capitalist तरीका है दुनिया को देखने का और it's like I don't know, I saw that Arvinda Diga की book जो थी White Tiger और movie भी देखी मैंने. वो रूस्टर कूप जो है वो एक तरह से वही है कि आप उसमें फंस जाते हो फिर फंसे ही रह जाते हो बिकॉज आप उससे निकल ही नहीं पाते हो. So I'm not saying that I'm trying to make people rebellious, but मुझे लगता है कि लोग ये gratitude की practice को गलत use करते हैं वहाँ पे. They actually tell people that अरे देखो, you have so much to be thankful for. Why are you asking for the moon? And when I feel that those people rightfully deserve, either it is a promotion or it is better projects, वो उन्हें चाहिए, उन्होंने अपनी competence दिखाई है. But the seniors will tell them, Are, just look at the others, they're not even getting that, you're getting this. So all I'm saying is that such beautiful practices are converted into tactics, tactical steps to get ahead. Matlab. And it pains my heart to see that. And I don't know what I can do because I'm trying to work with these people. पर अभी इसमें मुझे लग रहा है ना कि how to still keep the balance that yes, be grateful for what you have, but at the same time, don't let that get in the way of what you truly deserve because the arena is different. आपने ये चुना है कि आप एक corporate के part हो और आप ambitious हो और आपको so on and so forth, right? So yeah, any thoughts on that? I'll be happy to hear, or if you have any clarifying questions.
I think it's reminding me of, once you had asked a question, and I think कुछ ऐसा था कि if you're selling potatoes, you will have to shout and claim that your potatoes are the best. So everything depends on where you are standing. So if you are in a corporate thing, वहाँ पे first of all, it's all based on, like you're saying, कि obviously it's all like, I don't know what word you used, I forgot, कि ठीक नहीं है हिसाब, how it's all working on greed, and वहाँ पे gratitude को obviously manipulate करके कुछ और किया जा रहा है, but we always have our wisdom with us, right? Like कोई कुछ भी बोले, जब तक हमको कुछ greed, जैसे it's like they hang the carrots. जब तक मुझे carrot में interest है, तब तक तो I'll stand and I'll say yes, 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 I might get that carrot one day. But there would be a day when I'll walk off and I'll say I don't want that carrot anymore. So I think उसमें एक individually सबको उस point तक पहुंचना पड़ेगा कि I don't want that carrot anymore. It doesn't interest me. Either I can build my own carrot or I can stop eating carrots. but I don't want to stand here waiting for the carrot. So again, that was something that came to me. But yeah, it's like the working the corporate world, like it's really I don't know what word to use, but I what all you shared was very beautiful, like all the insights, like what how you were sharing how it operates. But one has to again connect and see कि मेरे लिए अभी क्या what I'm sorry, I totally lost what Monica.
Yeah. So I would like to touch upon the point what Aditi mentioned in between, that I am here now in this corporate world and how can I help? I think there is only one thing to be said here for all of us who may be in different arenas. I think the best possible way we can help anybody or even ourselves is just by truly being ourselves, but because we have forgotten uh, how to truly be myself. And I think Aditi, you are on this path, and the more you are, as Taru was sharing, that the wisdom is always with us, the inner guidance is always with you. So the more, it's like the veil of ignorance, the more the veil of obscurity is shedding off, the more the clarity from within will guide you which action to take in the corporate realm, what action is the right one for the field you are in. And the best possible service is to be on this path. I think that is the best possible service, because the more I am becoming closer and closer and closer to my truth, that is the best possible way to serve humanity, no matter whether you are in office or in ashram or anywhere. It doesn't matter, even at home, or anything else, because nobody can stop being influenced by the fragrance of a flower, and the blossoming of our being is actually like blossoming of a flower. The more we shed the veils of ignorance, which will happen if we are on this path by itself, the more I am getting rid of me and my story and actually working for truth in whatever field I am working. It is not a possibility that you would not know what is the right thing to do in that moment. So I think this is already happening, if I can see it correctly, that by being on this path of being closer and closer to your own truth, you anyway indirectly will be helping those people who are around you, in the office, for example, because right action will come from that space of that deeper space of being with my true self, or truth of the being. So yeah, that was just to share on the point that you shared. How can I help uh, this evil, whatever I see, that people abuse gratitude for some other reasons. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be gratitude for, right? Grateful for, sorry, that I can see so much, right? I can see all the manipulations happening. I can see how something has been misconstituted into something else, and I'm standing there and seeing. So इससे मेरा भी कितना awareness, I don't know, और एक basic facts काफी clear आ रहे हैं. So what I said, I had lost my flow, was like you had said that I don't want to rebel. I don't want anybody to rebel, but I personally find rebellion is beautiful. मतलब अगर कोई चीज ठीक नहीं है, so I think it's our, I don't know, dharma or birthright or our, मतलब ये होना ही चाहिए. Rebellion is not a bad thing, but I think it's one of the most beautiful things that we at times need to do for, I don't know, for the things we believe in. I know it's not related, but you had said it like as if it was a negative thing, but I don't think it is.
So thank you for saying that, Taru. That was one line that I needed to hear today, that rebellion is beautiful. Because I think a part of me keeps saying that, so part of me keeps saying that, nahi, you should stand for your own truth and isme koi buri cheez nahi hai. And the other part will say that, kisi ko bura lag jayega. So wo ek chalta rehta hai, ek conflict, right? So somewhere that little nudge, that little push. So I don't know. I needed to hear that today. So thank you, and thank you, Monica, to you too, because I think that's very powerful what you said. That if I am in my own rooted in my space, then probably I'll operate from that space. And yeah, so I don't. Again, this is the point where probably I don't need to be guided by logic. वो शायद would अपने आप ही हो जाएगा, whatever needs to happen. So yeah, thank you for reinforcing that. It's very nice.
They say that they say adhyatam, like this whole thing, like they say it begins with uh, revolt. It begins with rebellion. Like we feel that it's all about being sweet and nice and peaceful and quiet and silent. But if there's so much wrong around you, which is a fact, which is wrong around each and every one of us. अगर शुरुआत ही मैं ये कर रही हूँ कि I'm just sitting and I'm saying, oh, everything is great, I just accept things and people as they are, I will not move, neither will they. So I have to stand up, I have to clean the space around me, I have to clean myself, and then probably when everything is kind of, I don't know, at least according to what I feel is like it's giving me peace and not disturbing my peace, and I don't know, just in a more expanded sense, and then I can sit quietly if I want to. But how we feel that, if you're kind of spiritual, or if you, that is the way to be, you should not disagree, you should not, like, I think that's a very big misconception that we have. So, like, freedom fighters, I think, were the most, spiritual people, right? Like, they just couldn't stand what they were being asked to do. So, that's again, I guess, an example of that.
I think that would be just images about spirituality, right? That we have just, mind just keeps on making images about everything. And that is one image. And I think that is one of the reasons why people fear to come close to so-called spirituality, because they feel that the good life will be taken away from whatever to them is good. And this is one of the images, that one will be just sweet and kind and all that, because we have heard so much about kindness, and that one would not disagree, as you were saying. But I think the beauty is that one, if one really truly touches this spiritual space within the being, it just gives us more and more strength for that true rebellion. So I think, as you were sharing, that spirituality is true rebellion, because each one of us must take a stand for truth and not be cowardly, like, and suffocated with ha kar lo, main to ram mein rami hu. I think that is just weakness and inertia and just hypocrisy. Yeah, that is not spirituality. Yeah.
And if you look at the life stories of the spiritual, mystics and masters, like you look at Guru Nanak, right? Like that story is very popular, na? Ki his father said, "Ke you have to stop making the, like, stop allowing the birds to eat the seeds, na? जो उसमें है ना कि राम की चिड़िया राम का खेत खा ले चिड़िया भर भर पेट." So that was his rebellion, right? Ki even I so strongly believe that first right is of the birds on my seed. How can I stop them?
Yeah.
The Mahavir, they say, was kind of roaming around naked for years because he believed that he doesn't want any kind of materialism on himself or any attachment to anything. And people used to throw stones at him and call him mad. That was his rebellion. कबीर का तो आप मतलब अमेजिंग ही हो गया है ना, लाइक जो पूरा हमारा एक हिंदू धर्म का ये होता है कि इफ यू डाई इन वाराणसी यू गो टू स्वर्ग डायरेक्टली, एंड इफ यू डाई इन मगध you are bound to hell. He spent his whole life in Varanasi, and for his death he went to Magad, because I want to tell people that this is all stupid and truth. अगर यही सही सब कुछ स्वर्ग नरक हो जाना है, फिर ट्रूथ की क्या वैल्यू है? लाइक बुद्धा, ही वाज अ किंग, राइट, लाइक अ प्रिंस, and for him to say कि I don't want this and I want to, like, each and every one of them, if you look at them, they have so much rebellion and kind of taking, like, rebellion somehow एक negative association आ जाता है, but standing for what they believed in.
Yeah.
And no backing off, right? कि किसी के रोकने से तुम रुक गए तो तुम चले ही नहीं, right? Like how they say that. So it's, वाह, next topic ना rebellion ही ले लेते हैं, बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है.
Good one. Yeah, that's a good topic. Yeah. Why not?
Shilpi, you've written something in case वो नहीं है दादा आवाज, तो why don't you speak?
No, I had written it for that point only, which you covered, no, that if it is not taking me towards my peace or truth, then, what is the point of that action or that activity in my life? And if it is taking me the vivek to see where it is taking me. And if it is taking me in that direction, then the gratitude is, I feel like, automatically there. It's there.
Yeah.
I think one thing where we also uh, fear taking a so-called rebellious step is we feel that, am I making a mistake? Am I making a mistake? Will I be making a mistake? Will it be right? But it's very interesting to see that to us, it appears that the life I am living right now is a right life. So whatever I take one step in direction of my own standing, my own truth, the first step is always full of doubt, and it's okay to stay in that doubt and yet take the step, because it's good to know that anyway life is full of mistakes and wrongdoing. So even if I make another mistake, what's the big deal? And it's okay to make another mistake, because I am not completely in the right zone even now. So if I want to try and experiment with this rebellion now, which is new for me, standing up for my own truth, and even if it appears like a mistake in the beginning, one must go ahead and make the mistake, with the doubt and with the confusion in the head. One just must make one's own mistake. Yeah.
I just remembered something on the same lines that Monica is saying. I was listening to an audio by Acharya Prashant, and he said that people often come to me and say that, dharma or truth, they are such huge things. They are all that there is. Then why do we need to stand up and protect them? If the truth is being compromised somewhere, or then why I, as a small person, why do I need to help and work for it? And he said that truth is there, उसकी कोई हानि नहीं होगी, लेकिन मेरी ट्रूथ के साथ जो रिलेशनशिप है उसकी हानि हो जाएगी. And I, given what I am, that is not acceptable to me. That where my connection with it will be spoiled, because I will not be the one standing for the truth, and then that connection will be cut. So he said that that is a price I am not ready to pay. And that I kind of got it, that usually we say, yeah, God and all of these are two big things. Why I, as a small person, but that is so true, because that is constantly making me or breaking me.
This reminded me that when he personally told me कि अगर आप झूठ बोल के sessions पे आ रहे हो, it's like, obviously the sessions are not losing anything and the truth is not being lost, but just see who you are fearing and who you are choosing and what you are giving more importance in your life, right? Like, again, that's just the same thing कि obviously come. एक तो different वो हो गए places where you are, right? First, like सच के लिए अगर झूठ भी बोलना पड़े, I think it's a different thing, but it depends on where you are standing, where. But yeah, beautiful point. Thank you for sharing.
शिल्पी, what you shared just reminded me of, हम सुमिरन की जब बात करते हैं ना, तो it's almost on the same lines what you were saying कि truth की कोई हानि नहीं है ना. तो सुमिरन awareness तो forever aware है, उसका कुछ उसका कुछ loss नहीं होने वाला if we don't remind ourselves of our own truth. What really matters to us is that we continue suffering. So it's for the seeking self that remembrance becomes importance, because who we truly are is forever self-aware, so that doesn't lose anything. It's for the seeking self to come to an end towards its own suffering that remembers becomes important. Yeah.
Monica, there's a quote by Hafiz. It says that may the gratitude in my heart kiss the whole universe. What do you understand from this? Like, as in spread to the whole universe, my gratitude, or how would you?
I would see it that the moment I touch the space, which is this gratefulness within me, or if I can say within me, it's not within me. It's actually a thread connecting the whole of universe, because that being is only one. We share that being. So if one touches that space of gratefulness, so called within the being, I actually touch the whole universe with that space. That is what how I would see it. Just जैसे हम space की बात करते हैं ना, that presence is a self aware space, है ना. अब सुनामी आया और सारी buildings लेके चला गया, तो दिखता क्या है? Space is only one. So in one building, if I am touching my own space within, I am actually touching the whole vast universe from that point.
Yeah, I think the beginning में expansion की भी बात करी थी ना, कि when I feel grateful, I feel expanded. तो maybe है ना, must like I guess this on the same line.
And what also came to me was that, like, kiss the universe is like how I'm interacting or relating with the universe, like me touching the universe. So let gratitude be the first thing from me that touches the universe. It's the same thing we've been talking about, the place where we are operating from.
So we have been speaking a lot. Ramaji or Reggie, any almost ending comments, any observations you would want to share at this point?
Sorry, what was that quote? What was the quote? I couldn't hear you properly, actually. The kissing one.
Oh, the quote is, may the gratitude in my life uh, kiss the universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could have a word here and there, but that was basically it.
Right. That's yeah. That actually signifies the magic in gratitude for me also. So there's this. My initial experience with meditation was largely had gratitude as the base, because see, I had this problem of I'm very rational in the head. So I had this problem of concentrating or stopping the flow of thoughts, and they just wouldn't stop. They keep going on and on and on, and because of that, the thoughts would be mixed with things that need to happen, should happen, I need to do or plan or organize, or things that didn't go right or wrong, or it's constantly rationalizing things. And I had to go to this place of gratitude to stop, because once you touch that space, then this dissipates. Like Monica was saying, it dissipates. I can't stop these thoughts. Even today, even in the morning I get up, that's my first thing to do, is go to that space, because it starts with thoughts. आज का क्या agenda है, कल क्या हुआ था, परसों, it's like that. So it really is that one, if you think about it, it's the one attribute that is completely unconditional. It's not a condition at all, because everything else can be happiness is conditioned, joy is conditioned, it has definitions. Gratitude is the purest source of gratitude, is just like Monica was also saying, is the true you. You cannot condition this. If you go to this space, you literally, and this is another thing through the practice of meditation, that kissing of the universe, when I go to that place, and we read this when we were doing the course about Mother saying about the cells being illuminated by gratitude. And I've never read that line before. And after I read that line and then I used it, then you really see what she means, cells being illuminated. You can put this into your body and you can just wake up to your realization, and rationality just takes a back step. So I just feel like that that quote that you just said, Taru, and the fact remains that this is the only thing that has actually kept me going, regardless of actually what is happening. Because last year I couldn't make out what is happening. Things are just happening. I don't know what is happening anymore. And it's frustrating, because my family is constantly asking, what are you doing? You were studying for a decade, you were this big shot journalist. Now what are you doing? You're doing nothing. You become some domesticated cow. I'm like, and if I meet a new person and that person asks me, so I made a new friend this year, and that person asked me, so tell me about yourself. And I'm in this phase now. I'm just like, listen, I just have gratitude. I can't define myself anymore. There's no definition of what I am. You'll find out things you want to know, but gratitude is me. That's it. I have gratitude, and that's I can't speak enough of this quality. Actually, it cannot be. There's not much that can be said. It's that unique. I feel there's only so much I can honestly say, and it's it's the rebellion. The point that we were talking about being the rebellious streak. It's not that I want to be a rebel in any way, but the fact that I don't have a plan anymore or any agenda or any expectations or demands that society had on me or my parents had on me. And I'm just trying to be me now. It's actually taking an individual stand because you can't change what's outside. I can never change my parents or ask them for anything. They're going to remain like this and or society or anything. But I can be my own unique self and I can be grateful for doing that. And that is the only hope, because everything else outside, I don't see it changing in my life. At least these people won't change. So I mean, I can see myself though taking a stand, and if that has an impact on them later, good. That's time will tell. But uh, that is the most grounding attitude to have, and it turns you inward, like you guys rightly. It is the one key to turning me inwards, not worrying about too much about what is or what can be and all that. So Aditya is left, right? So I wanted to tell her something. I just came to my mind about the corporate environment. Maybe some other time.
No, why don't you say
Okay.
it? Because most likely she will be asking for the recording. She usually does. So please share what you wanted to share.
Oh, okay. So no, I was a science journalist up until 2019. That's for a decade, and I was around these bigwigs and experts, so neuroscience and consciousness studies and physical sciences and all this. I've been writing on these subjects. I have not felt that satisfaction. I was seeking for something else, but I couldn't get that satisfaction. I got a lot of information, networks, big names, and all of this. Actually, I didn't know much about the ego self either at that point. So it is a big boost to your ego when you're in such a setting. People hold on to this because it's a power circle. And I was in it, but the moment I cut that plug, I pulled that cord off that, and I'm actually able to see the difference between my rational self and the true being, which actually is gratitude. Because gratitude cannot even now there are in science also there are so many ways to access gratitude now. They can help as doorways. Some of them I've written about some of them, but the truest sense is when you actually let go of any rationality, because the rational self is always looking for reasons and route maps and techniques and things. I think the best technique is to not have a technique. Just sometimes just releasing yourself from too much of the studying has helped, because I was into a lot of theorizing, and that has its place. I'm not saying it's not helpful. Sometimes it opens doors and it shows you ways, but this true space it doesn't need a reason or rationality or and I wish I had this understanding in the corporate world, because it would make life easier, but it's come after that. But anyway, now when I have to work in such an environment again or do other things related to such environments, at least this is something that will stay. It's very difficult to, if you don't have the, like that time I didn't even understand this in any sense, so I didn't go to this space. But now if I go back, I can visualize myself trying to come back to this space even in that sort of an environment, which is quite, because there they don't look at gratitude like this. They say you should be you should be grateful for this paycheck, and you should be grateful for getting promoted and licking my ass, because that's how you get promoted often. I didn't get promoted in my final year because I failed to please my boss, for instance. I didn't do what he wanted me to do. I didn't think it didn't fit with me, and so that led to my downfall as well. So, but I'm grateful for that, because that's led me on this journey now after that fall. So that was an important fall. So the gratefulness, even in letting go of something big at that point, is immense. because otherwise that I would be stuck in that loop of trying to please my boss and trying to get on that ladder. And because there's this, I think that was why that incident even happened, maybe, to push me off somehow. So yeah, just that.
Thank you, Reggie. You know how it's so consistent. You thank first your sickness to show you new things, and you're thanking, kind of like that you didn't get promoted. So if we can all see that how our challenges or the things that, overall on the surface look like bad things, how they actually are good things. That is why, in the beginning we shared that often we don't even know what to be grateful for. So it doesn't have to be event specific or situation. You're saying something, yeah?
No, I'm listening.
No, okay, yeah, situation specific. So it's so much bigger than that. And I absolutely loved what you said about the mind being the problem, because it is actually a big problem. And then we can actually see that, how Sri Aurobindo also says that how the world keeps running after usefulness and not beauty. And if I can start going towards beauty, that's again a lot of grace and a lot of things to be a big thing to be grateful for, a huge thing if I'm looking for things. And you talked about the door, that reminded me, there's a very beautiful, as I know I read from the mother, it said that it is you who opens the door, uh, and let the grace penetrate. Like, it's in your hands. Okay, you will only have to get up and open the door through which grace can penetrate you. So gratefulness would be one of, like you had used the word, master key to let the grace penetrate. And again, what you said about the cells being illuminated by gratefulness, I didn't remember that. Thank you so much for that reminder.
No, you're welcome. I should be thankful to Monica for bringing that in, because now I can practically feel it. Because earlier I've never even thought of that concept. Right? They don't teach you that in scientific literature, self-illuminating and stuff. So that was that itself was magic. See, this course was very much needed.
आई थिंक मोनिका के साथ तो एक पैसिव ग्रैटिट्यूड चलता है, उसको भी एक्टिव करना चाहिए if we have to learn anything. So yeah. So anything, Shilpi, Ramaji, Monica, before we end?
Rama ma'am, would you like to share anything? You haven't shared at all, if possible. अच्छा लगेगा आपकी आवाज सुन के.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So nice to have be the part of the group. I have been listening very attentively to Reggie and others who shared, and something which I know and I know is important. I have to bring myself to the tend to lose focus. Yes, day-to-day things. Actually, you have to practice that. You have to actually be with yourself. And one thing very important I understood from Monica was, Monica, you said silence. Sometimes one becomes too talkative at times. It is actually a sign of not being too happy, actually. If one finds some people who are too talkative, too happy, and too jovial, it might be they might be hiding something. And actually, it is bringing to base that silence will make you think inwards. When you're talking outwards. I want to explore that more. Silence and gratitude is something so simple that one feels that ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. This is not possible, which will actually solve my entire problem. Although it makes me scared at one point that if I am thankful for everything, will I be downtrodden? Like I'll be put down. That's actually beautiful. Gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, Taru. Thank you, Monica. Thank you all.
I think what you said, that it's scary, and you're right. It's scary for the story, because we have been living for the story, for the ego for so long. So yes, because the ego will dissipate in the moment of gratitude. So it can be scary for the ego, but it should be, treaded because we are not the egos. We deserve that silence that you are sharing about. And I'm so glad that you talked about it, that we must explore that silence, and it is almost a sign of being okay with yourself. I am okay being myself, and that is where one can actually fall into that space of stillness and silence, just being either with a friend. Even when we are with a friend, we feel such an obsessive compulsive need to talk about things, and it's lovely to share the silence also, uh, even with a friend or without a friend, just being yourself. And I remember this one of my one a person I know, whenever he talks to a very close friend, both of them fall silent for a long duration of time. Now I am wondering whether it is the silence of the being or silence of inertia, because I don't want to speak. It takes too much of effort to speak. But yes, I think it's really beautiful to fall silent even with a friend, and also with yourself. I think that's really beautiful. And I'm happy that you shared these 2 points. Thank you.
And I think another thing that Ramaji pointed towards, that it's so simple, that how the most monumental things are so simple, like say peace, like the basic thing, calling peace or stillness. It's like, I do so much for my peace and for my happiness. How can just calling ke bhaiya aaja, it will come. But
Totally.
again, like gratitude, wo ek hai na ki you become the how, what is it? What you speak becomes the house you live in. Karke, I think, I don't know, it's Hafiz or Rumi. So again, the same thing, right? So if I'm genuinely so grateful for what I have, just again the more grace. I mean, ये औचित्य नहीं है कि भैया कुछ मिलेगा ये करो, but in general, because you feel there's so much, it just, it opens the doors for so much more grace to come in. Again, बोलने में और लग रहा है because it's not a commercial this thing ke, do it that way, but it's so simple and so beautiful, and it
True.
just,
Very true.
yeah.
Kabir shares at this only, that मैं जहां जहां ढूंढा मुझे वहां पे राम नहीं मिले, and where I found Ram is til ke ote Ram. So a thing that is even, we ignore it. If a till is lying somewhere on the ground, we will completely ignore it. And that's what you were sharing, and Ramaji, what she pointed at, that it's so simple that it seems that it would not work. And mind is so used to trying complicated things that it just feels an insult, that how can this work bloody, when all my pantras did not work. Yeah, beautiful.
So we'll end the session here. Thank you so much for sharing, Ramaji, and hope to see you all next week. Thank you, and in the sessions in between. Okay, bye. Thank you.